and his loyalties to her. So it's fun to be a rule guy, but to have that vein of emotional vulnerability and commitment in there was a lot of fun for me.
Does everybody else want to see more Helena art scenes?
Yeah!
More food.
Those were a treat. Now, Christian, I want to ask you about Donnie, because this is a character who has, I would say, come into his own maybe more than any other character on the show. Go from being very put upon to kind of, ass-kicking in a way, and certainly owning it. What were your thoughts as you were reading the scripts for season 2 and acting them out and realizing this was a character that was going to change a huge amount?
Well, I didn't know that at the beginning of the season. I did know that I was a monitor, and that was, all I had to go on. But just like Ari said, we really don't find out until we get that script before we, go in for that read-through for that script. So, and sometimes it's the night before. So I remember specifically episode 6 where Donnie really comes into his own. The writers have warned me like, oh yeah, episode 6 is going to be pretty crazy for Donnie. Like, okay, well, how crazy can it be? Yeah, it's like, it won't be crazier than the glue gun, crack through the terror. So that can't be beat. And I challenged them to beat that. I was like, you guys can't beat that. And so those for episode 6. That's how they all talk, by the way. Every writer. Yeah, you heard it, right? It ranks like that. So I remember the script came in around like midnight, as they tend to get sent out at the last second. And I couldn't go to bed without reading it, so I sat in bed and started reading it. And all of a sudden, all these crazy things are happening. Donnie's in rehab with his wife, and all of a sudden, he's playing Allison, and all of a sudden, Allison is playing Donnie, but it's not Allison, it's Sarah playing Allison playing Donnie. It's like just mind-blowing. And then all of a sudden, Donnie walks into the room and sees Sarah and Allison next to each other, and I was like, oh my God, they put me into the clone club. I'm now part of it. I know what's going on. It couldn't get any crazier than this. And then, Dr. Leakey is getting all these threats, and he's got to make it out of town. And all of a sudden, the car pulls up, and I'm like, oh boy, Paul is coming off Dr. Leakey. This is going to be crazy. And I'm reading, and the window goes down, and it's Donnie. And I'm like, why is Donnie there? Why does Donnie have a gun? And then the scene goes on, I'm like, oh my God. And then he puts the gun down. I'm like, okay, that was really crazy because I thought for a boom, and I was like, ah! I'm flipping out. I was jumping up and down on my bed. I was screaming expletives over and over again. And then I didn't sleep a wink that night because I was like, I can't believe this is going to be filmed and this is going to happen. And it took me totally by surprise. And it's been a pleasure to watch Donnie just totally turn into a badass. Like everybody knows I am, so glad the writers saw that in me.
Kudos to them for
totally recognizing my badasses.
If there's a character in line for that kind of turn this season, I think it's got to be Scott. Josh, I haven't had the pleasure of talking to you previously. I've met everyone else from Orphan Black. We haven't heard from you. Is there an element of Scott that really drew you to the character, or how do you